another little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today.
Change has come to America.
Believe it.
Help is on the way.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
It's Friday, you bastards.
At the start of yesterday, we were projecting that Republicans would land at 222 seats, plus or minus, crucial, plus or minus 7. This is an estimate, but it moved twice yesterday, ticked down to 220 for the Republicans. Again, 218 is the magic number for a party to get a majority. We now have Republicans landing at 220 plus or minus 7 seats, meaning there is still an opportunity for Republicans to press that number up into the 220s, but there's also an opportunity for Democrats to get to 218 to 219 to just barely eke out a majority. The big thing that's going to decide this on the House, we can just call up the map here, is California, because there are just a bunch of races in California, which takes, they call it election season in California.
Yeah.
It's going to take weeks in some of these places to get clarity here. But just again, to give you a sense of it, these are all the uncalled races. So, Democrats need to win the bulk of these if they're going to win the House. But look how many of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 of them are in California. So Democrats, we could go through these one by one at some point if you want. But basically, there's a lot of opportunities here for Democrats, a lot of really, really narrow races outside California that kind of need to break their way. And then they just need to really kind of sweep through California. That's the kind of scenario that could actually get them to 218 or 219. Again, our model thinks it's most likely the Democrats are going to fall like 3 seats short of a majority. And the irony of that is, if that does end up being the case, if this thing lands at 220, 215, where did Democrats suffer their biggest losses? It was in the state of New York.
Long Island.
It was Long Island, and it was in the Catskills. The chair of the DCCC, who I know was on your show the other day, oversaw nationally an unbelievable night for Democrats. Nobody would have believed the Friday after the election we'd be talking about Democrats having a path to House control. The guy who oversaw that lost his own seat in New York, along with a number of other Democrats. And Democrats had earlier in the year, they have all the political power in New York, they had earlier in the year aggressively drawn a map that was designed to maximize the number of Democratic seats. It got thrown out by a judge. Had that map been in place, we probably right now, that chart over there would probably have the Democrats favored to hang on to the House.
Holy crap. So we gerrymandered ourselves out of a House majority. Is that what I'm supposed to be hearing there? I don't know, because that's what I heard. That is what I heard. So it's down to 3 seats, everybody. 3 seats in the House to have the House remain with the Democrats, to have the House remain in sane hands. Okay. You know that's the lay of the land in the Senate. There's 3 races that are uncalled, and we need to win 2 of those 3. It would be Arizona, Nevada, and, of course, Georgia. Georgia, by the way, Lindsey Graham is in tears. Lindsey Graham is beside himself about how bad you've treated Herschel. Herschel doesn't deserve this. You have to support Herschel. My Herschel.
They have treated him like crap. His family, stand by Herschel tonight. If you
And is that what he's fighting for? Or is it that Trump is blackmailing him with some, picture of him with a live boy or a dead goat or some damn thing? I don't know. But oh my God, how low are you going to go, you little parasite, you little bloodsucker? I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen somebody grovel or go so low as Lindsey Graham is willing to go for a sack of crap like Herschel Walker. And of course, last night he pulled the race card. He literally decided he was going to play the race card. This is what, and I'm warning you right now, it's offensive. It is totally offensive because Lindsey Graham's argument is, forget about Tim Scott, who is, a Republican senator who's black from the South and by all accounts sane. Forget about him. forget about him being the future of Republican black candidates or Republican black senators, or, forget about that. Herschel is the future of the Republican Party. And if we have, the Democrats have, apparently we've put words into Herschel's mouth and sperm into Herschel's penis and into other people's uterus. And created their pregnancies or some such crap. I have no idea. And, we're the ones that went out and lied about, their education, or we're the ones that, Herschel Walker's own son, Herschel Walker's own words are disqualifying. Okay? Disqualifying. He has absolutely no character. He has no principles. He has no moral compass. He's violent. As you know, he's been diagnosed as having a mental illness, dissociative disorder. We're not making that up. That's just a fact. He plays Russian roulette with loaded guns. I mean, the man is not somebody that anybody with any integrity would point to and say, he's the future of my party. But Lindsey Graham did that.
And here's the most important point I'm going to make tonight. They're trying to destroy Herschel to deter young men and women of color from being Republicans.
Oh, my God.
If they destroy Herschel, it will deter people of color from wanting to be a conservative Republican, because you just have your life ruined. We cannot let that happen. We need to have his back. If Herschel wins, he's going to inspire people all over Georgia of color to become Republicans, and I say all over the United States. Herschel Walker is a nightmare for liberals. He's an African-American conservative. They have belittled him. They have treated him like crap. His family. Stand by Herschel tonight. If you can give. If you know somebody that can give, ask them to do it. TeamHerschel.com. The conservative movement for people of color is on the ballot in Georgia. We must help people like Herschel for the benefit of our country and the future of conservatism.
Why don't you just run Kanye West and get it over with? I mean, honestly, if this is an example, and it isn't, but if this is an example of what to expect as the best of the best that the African American community has for conservatism, you're effed, Lindsey. You're effed.
Can I just say, Lindsey's an emotional drunk, isn't he? I mean, geez.
God, he's so out.
Pull yourself together, Linz.
Well, Rudy too went on TV drunk all the time, and made outrageous statements, just trying to save his own skin or whatever. I have no idea, why they're willing to follow Trump down this dark and dank road. But this is epidemic in that party, and the party is now attacking itself. But here's the thing. I apologize to every black person in this audience for Lindsey Graham insinuating that Herschel Walker is the best that the South can produce for black Senate candidates, okay? That is just ridiculously insulting. That Herschel Walker, who cannot tell the truth for more than a second, okay? Herschel Walker, who lies about everything from being a law enforcement officer, to being a high school graduate, to being top of his class in graduate school, which he never attended. I mean, to saying that he runs the largest food service business of any black entrepreneur when he's got 8 employees at Renaissance Man Food. I mean, it's just so disgusting that that's the argument he's choosing to make. But why? Why is he doing any of this? Is it blackmail, or is it his own chairmanship?
All things Randi at RandiRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
We got the B team in, it's time to put the A team in.
After a marathon campaign in which more than $250 million was spent.
My God.
Good afternoon, Georgia.
Georgia Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock and his Republican challenger Herschel Walker are back on the campaign trail.
We're in overtime. That means we got a runoff. Hey, I was built for this.
You have to admit that I did warn y'all that we might be spending Thanksgiving together.
If Democrats can score victories in Senate races in Nevada and Arizona, they can secure the majority even without Georgia.
That would be great. that would just be beautiful. If we actually can wrap up in Nevada and Arizona with 2 Democratic senators there, right? Then we don't even need for black voters in Georgia to have this stress yet again placed upon them. It is an amazing thing. We look to African-American voters in Georgia. Last time we did, too, in the runoff with Warnock and Ossoff, right, the special election there. We look to black Americans to save our butts, to go and, give the nod to a Democratic Senate, and African-American voters in Georgia showed up and did the thing, did it for us. And now we have to do it again. They have to do it again. They have to take all of this upon themselves. Black Georgia voters, they're like, listen, why is the burden always on us to save the Senate? So that's why I would like to see Nevada wrap its crap up there and Arizona start, the whole thing is that you have a lot of mail-in ballots. And because of the Republican legislatures, with all these, new restrictions about accepting ballots without, jumping through hoops and 9 different, authentications with signatures and barcodes and this and that. Oh, my God. It's so unbelievable that you can't just count ballots anymore. You can't just count. You have to go through, this and that and this. You got to have signature experts on site, and they have to match it up to what they have on file for you. And and if they don't agree, the experts, that this is really your signature, then you have to know that your ballot was set aside, and then you have to show up and you have to cure it, meaning sign your name again and show them, yes, no, this really is me. But you had me sign on one of those pads, like when the UPS man, the FedEx guy, drops off the package, and I'm standing out there on my porch in my pajamas and I'm signing and I'm just making an R, and then writing a line. That's not my real signature, It's just what I do on the, stupid pad. Jeez, it's unbelievable to me. It's unbelievable. So, what can I tell you? It looks like it's going to be up to black voters in Georgia to save America again. Oh, no wonder Republicans keep trying to disenfranchise African-American voters. Oh, I get it now. And Lindsey wants to understand why it is that he doesn't have more of a pool of, capable people with integrity, people with character, signing up to be black conservatives. Maybe it has a little something to do with the amount of racism that gets spewed from your party, the way you draw maps with an eye towards race, the undoing of the Voting Rights Act, and the, affirmative is what I would say, the affirmative effort at disenfranchisement of black voters. Maybe that's discouraging people from supporting your party. I'm just saying, I don't know. But wow, it's just unbelievable. It's all going to come down to black voters yet again in Georgia if we can't get 2 people in in the Senate races in Arizona and Nevada finished up. So I just want to tell you that in Georgia, the runoff campaign is structured to this, to the last one, except they did change the law in Georgia. They did a lot of stuff in Georgia. And one of the things that changed in Georgia has to do with the runoff. And so instead of it being 90 days after the election, it's 4 weeks after the election. And so the ballots won't be mailed to you until November 18th, but you can request your absentee ballot now in Georgia. As I said, next week they'll start mailing them out. You have to have your ballot in and received before December 6th, the close of business December 6th. And so the dates are really, bizarre, and they're not comfortable because they're soon, and people don't realize because we have a holiday in the midst of it all. We have Thanksgiving in the middle of it. And, you have to, the early voting, according to Georgia law, has to start by November 28th. Some counties might start sooner. Early voting ends December 2nd. And your ballots have to be received by December 6th. But here's the key to this whole, crap about, get your calendars out, everybody, and write it down. You can request your absentee ballot now. And I would suggest you do that if you're in Georgia. Just do it now. So here we are. Here we are again. I just, this is like one of my favorite articles. This is what not MS, but NBC News, went and looked at, how people feel in Georgia about all this. And one of the voters is Aaron Jones. He's 47. He's an auto body repair supervisor. And he said, quote, "This is disappointing because one candidate is a qualified senator and the other is Herschel Walker." So that about wraps up, how people are feeling. They are exasperated. Everybody in Georgia has really... They're stressed out. They said the whole thing's been stressful because of the amount of attack ads they had to endure, because of the amount of hatred that was flowing, because it was not about the candidates so much as it was about, one party over the other, and the hate and the amount of garbage that was spewed over the airwaves. And he said, and now after all of that, it's still not over. So I feel for you. I really do. I feel for you, Georgia. But, we are counting on you because soccer moms are unreliable. They really are. All right, Gabriella in L.A.
Hey, Randy. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Lots of respect for your patriotic service to you.
Oh, it's Veterans Day. Yeah, I forgot.
Yes. Okay. A lot of people and other programs are suggesting to let's go for Trump now. Let's start the subpoenas by the DOJ. And I'm thinking about that, and he waited till after the elections, but with Georgia being so critical, what do you think the timing may or should be by the DOJ if they start issuing subpoenas so it does not affect the Georgia election?
I don't know what they have in mind. Everything I read said 60 to 90 days. I'm going to guess that it won't happen until after the new year, but I would like to see it happen now. Like yesterday would have been good for me.
You don't think that would rile up some Trumpers that are left over and bring them out to vote for Walker?
I think all the Trumpers did vote for Walker. I don't think there's one more you could scrape off the bottom of the barrel. I just don't. Because who would vote for Herschel Walker? Who? Knowing.
Call in, connect. To speak to Randy, call 561-270-3844.
561-270-3844. Races in Arizona and Nevada still too early to call as vote counting continues. On social media, former President Trump attacking the process in those states without evidence as corrupt and allowing more time to cheat. But mostly Mr. Trump focused on attacking a potential 2024 rival, Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis.
Ron DeSanctimonious.
Calling him a, quote, average Republican governor with great public relations. Mr. Trump posting that, quote, Ron came to me in desperate shape before his 2018 Florida election, and that he saved DeSantis from being, quote, politically dead. Mr. Trump has also been defending himself over the midterm results. But some Republicans are trying to turn away from the party's former leader, placing blame for a worse-than-expected election at Mr. Trump's feet, for backing unelectable candidates and focusing on conspiracy theories.
If fealty to Donald Trump is the primary criteria for selecting candidates, we're probably not going to do really well.
Republican Mike Lawler defeated Democratic campaign chair Sean Patrick Maloney in New York.
You want to see the party move forward from Trump?
Yeah, I think moving in a different direction as we move forward is a good thing.
But even some Trump allies see DeSantis as the new Republican leader.
You know, I think Governor DeSantis is the biggest single winner of the night, and he will almost certainly become the rallying point for everybody in the Republican Party who wants to move beyond President Trump.
After defying expectations of a red wave on election night, Democrats still have a chance to keep the House, but they need to run the table to preserve their majority.
Oh, my God, they are turning on Trump. They're literally flipping. They're doing 180s. They're leaving skid marks. They're running. Newt Gingrich, I mean, these are some front-running phonies, man. These are people that they just scrape their knees getting off that bandwagon, just jumping off. It's unbelievable. So to your question about whether or not I think that the DOJ ought to, bide their time because of Herschel Walker's challenge to Raphael Warnock's incumbency in the Senate, no, I don't think that, we should wait any longer. I think that there was deference paid already. And that, Trump's going to torch it. He's going to burn it down no matter what you say. He's going after, Rupert Murdoch now, I mean, it's like Trump versus the world. Trump is Newt is not on Trump's side anymore. Newt. The only person I can see that's still with Trump is, Lindsay. And like I said at the beginning of the show, my big question is why? Is it because Trump does have photos, compromising ones or seedy ones or seamy ones or something? He knows something about Lindsay because he's threatening that he knows something about Ron DeSantis. You know that. He's threatening that he's got inside deep information that only Ron DeSantis's wife knows. Humiliating, terrible information about Ron. And he will tell us, just as soon as, Ron becomes the nominee, he will ruin his chances. He will, pipe up. He will open his pie hole and he'll start, revealing all this dirt that he's got on Ron DeSantis. And he's also going after, Rupert Murdoch. He's going after News Corp because I showed you yesterday the two last front pages of the New York Post, which is Rupert Murdoch's, he took over that freaking newspaper and destroyed it. But the two last headlines of the New York Post one was DeSantis the future. That was after election night. And the next day, they had Trumpty Dumpty on the front cover on the front page of the New York Post on the newspaper front page in giant font, Trumpty Dumpty. And they had him sitting on a wall, said, Trumpty Dumpty fell off a wall he couldn't get built. And that all the king's horses and all the king's men, will the GOP be able to put them back together again? I mean, and so now he's going after, the Fox News hosts, they're all walking away too. So he's going after News Corp, which is the Wall Street Journal and Fox and the New York Post, because they're all in for the next new thing. They're all in for, Ron. And Kari Lake, by the way, who is a Trump acolyte, right? She's a Trump handpicked MAGA. She's blaming Ron DeSantis, too, for, the holdup in declaring her the winner in anointing her the new governor of Arizona.
What I think they're doing is slow rolling our victory. They want to take the air out of this movement, and they can't do it because it's a movement, and we, the people, are fed up, and we're not going to slow down. We're not going to let them take the fire out of our belly. And so they slow roll the results. Ron DeSantis goes out, gives his big speech, and then they want to make it look like the Trump Republicans don't have a chance. We do. We're going to win. I'm 100% sure of that. I think that Blake may even win with the look of what is left to be counted. Yeah. These votes are going to go Blake's way as well. And so they just want to control the narrative. And they can do that by how quickly they release results.
I mean, everything with her and everything with the Trumpers and everything with MAGA and everything with Q and everything, Oh, by the way, Trump is just, he's on his freaking stupid platform. He has been, truthing, or whatever the hell, they're going to call, 22 times in an hour. And they're QAnon memes and him standing there with the letter Q in the background saying the storm is coming. I mean, it's crazy. It's just backcrap crazy. And, of course, Kari Lake thinks it's a conspiracy, right? It's a conspiracy, not against Gretchen Whitmer, who not only won her governorship as a person who was threatened with kidnapping, but flipped her entire state legislature. And now the state of Michigan is firmly in Democratic hands, with most of the people in charge of the state of Michigan in high positions of office in high being women. But Kari Lake thinks that this was a conspiracy against her, that they focused on DeSantis, not Gretchen Whitmer, that they focused on DeSantis's win. It was aimed at her. It was so that Arizona would then, be distracted by the small shiny object that is Florida. That is so sick and twisted. Because, the reason why it's slow in Arizona is because of the Arizona laws. It is slow in Arizona because of the Arizona legislature that refused to allow any counting of ballots until election day, right? So and also they allowed for people to drop off their ballots at the polling places on election day. Now in Florida, you can't do that. You can't drop off your mail-in ballot at a polling place in Florida on election day. Okay. So, I mean, the laws are different. And she's like saying, oh, well, it was all an excuse to set me up. You know, DeSantis had me set up and the media is against me. And, and they're doing it to take the wind out of the sails of the Trump MAGA movement. No, you know what took the wind out of the sails of the Trump MAGA movement, Kari? Losing. So much losing. Your head cheese, your big guy, your number one, your bigly dude, your I alone can fix it guy has only won one election in 2016 and did it with the help of foreign governments, which we know. And then in 2018, he resoundingly lost the midterms. Then he lost the presidential in 2020. Wasn't even close. And then he lost another midterm with his hand-picked candidates that exhibited zero solutions, zero character, zero integrity. The only qualification they had was fealty and loyalty to him. And the American voters rejected that. They want somebody who's going to be loyal to them. See, that's what screwed up your movement.
This is the Randi Rhodes Show. To speak with Randi, dial 561-270-3844. That's 561-270-3844.
Okay, this is Bill Gates. He's the Republican election supervisor in Arizona for Maricopa County, which is Phoenix.
Quite frankly, it is offensive for Kari Lake to say that these people behind me are slow rolling this when they're working 14 to 18 hours. So I really hope this is the end of that now. We can be patient and respect the results when they come out.
Yeah. Good luck with that. Good luck. It is offensive. I mean, she's offensive. That's the thing about her is she's offensive. She's nasty. She's a terrible person. And, if for some strange reason the ballots go Kari Lake's way, obviously, Katie Hobbs will respect the result of the election, where Kari Lake will only respect the result of the election if she wins. She has told us that, right? Which is disgusting and arrogant and un-American, to be frank with you. But if Kari Lake does prevail as the governor of Arizona, you understand that she will be a major embarrassment to this to your state. You understand that the crap that she's going to put you through in the 2024 election is going to be unbelievably sad, sick, and nasty. Because she'll be the remnant of MAGA. A remnant. That's what she'll be. Her and her little beauty lens. Her little husband's fuzzy lens that he uses, to hide her age. It's just, these are some strange people. But they got to keep counting, and I'm telling you, they're going to be counting probably into next week. Arizona, Nevada, it's going to take a while because they have these laws on the books that they haven't bothered, to meet the people where they are. This whole thing about having to put your being able to drop your ballot off at the polling place, a mail-in ballot at the polling place instead of walking in there and voting, has screwed up so many so many results. And here's the thing: it's always been like this in Phoenix. It's always been like this in Arizona, and it's been like this in Nevada too. You know what the difference is? The difference is that now we're paying attention to the counting in the largest counties in, Clark County and Maricopa County. Clark County in Nevada, which is Las Vegas, and also, Reno, the county there, Washoe. And we're paying attention to the counting in Maricopa County, which is Phoenix, right? And why? Because it's so tight, because there was no red wave, because the candidates that Donald Trump selected, with the only barrier to entry being, fealty to him. If you weren't completely 100% loyal to Donald Trump, you didn't get to, be anybody on the ballot in this particular election cycle. And every one of those psychos that he picked for their fealty to him being the only qualification, not competence, not decency, not character, not integrity, not honesty, None of those things, were check marks on his, I'll support you, checklist. No, it was all, are you loyal to me? Will you, kiss my butt in public? Will you deny elections when I tell you to? Will you lie for me? Will you steal from me? Will you cheat for me? Will you cover for me? Will you, what? And those candidates did not prevail. And that's why there was no red wave. And so we're down to, a handful. And obviously, they're in places where usually you just move on and you don't pay a whole lot of attention to Maricopa County's results. And you don't pay a whole lot of attention to Clark County's results. But now the entire balance of the Senate depends on us winning 2 of the last 3. One, I swear to God, Warnock. Oh, it just drives me insane. Warnock got 49.6% of the vote. If he would have gotten 0.4 of a percentage point more, we would have been done with Georgia, okay? Because that would have put him at 50, and that would have been that. But because Georgia has these weird laws that say that you have to have 50% of the vote or you go to a runoff, that's where we are, even though Warnock won. Just by a sheer majority of the votes, he won. He's got 49.6, and little Herschel there has like 48 and change, right? So that's less. So the winner is Warnock, but because of the law being what it is in Georgia, we have to now have a runoff. And nobody would be paying attention to the counting in Maricopa County, except so much is riding on it, right? And the same thing with, Clark County and Las Vegas in Nevada. Same thing. Same damn thing. So this is where we are. All right, Len in New York.
Hi, mine was one of the counties that flipped. Kathleen Rice retired, and I just suddenly made me realize the power of incumbency that I never experienced before.
In New York, yeah.
But, this is going to be such a close end result that if I were Nancy Pelosi, I would be talking to Steny Hoyer, and I would be saying, look, there are people we know here for a long time that really don't want to have to deal with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Kevin McCarthy over the next 2 years. And just like in the past, there is an occasion here or there where a few people in the House decided to switch from Democrats to Republicans. I would go to talk to some of those people they know and say, look, do you want to save this country? Switch sides. For God's sake, switch sides. And I would be pressing each one of the people that they know well to say, look, we'll let you choose someone else other than Nancy as a speaker. We'll give you great positions in leadership. Just switch sides for the sake of your country and announce it.
It's interesting.
That's what I would be doing. I would be on the phone already.
It's very interesting. I mean, I think after what happened with, Nancy Pelosi and her house and the home invasion and the hammer in the head to her husband, I have a sinking feeling that she is, out, that she's done. That
she doesn't want to be the leader.
I don't think she does.
Right.
I really don't think she does. She did say the other day when she finally sat down and told the story, which was just gut-wrenching, heartbreaking, the amount of political violence in this country as a result of, what we've just been through. She was saying, yes, it will affect her decision, about whether or not she, runs again or wants to be the Speaker of the House. And so that's really sad because obviously she's so competent and capable. But this is just, she's 80 years old, and the truth of the matter is, who needs this crap at 80? Who really needs this? But
well,
it's
not just her, but it's the 60-some-odd-year-old Republican House members who I don't know because I'm not friends with any of them. But they know them, and they say, look, do you want Kevin McCarthy to be your leader, kissing up to Trump for the next 2 years? Switch sides for the sake of the country, for God's sake.
Well, they would have to come from swing districts, that's for sure,
Yeah, 2 or 3, 3 or 4, 5 or 6 maybe. They can get a number of people on board to make a serious statement.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting idea. It really is. I mean, I'm not saying it.
And by the way,
it would work. I mean,
you
just, if this is the number that we're looking at, 215, right? and 218 is the magic number, which it is, then all we would need is to talk to 3 people, and so it's an interesting proposition. It really is.
By the way, I go back and forth from New York to Florida all the time. Sometimes I'm Len from Pompano Beach. I am starting to write, the kind of stuff. I'm going to be running for president. I'm going to be somehow or another finding somebody to get me on TikTok, some influencer to get me to troll Ron DeSantis. I already have a few of them, like these 20, 30 things. Hey, Ron, I'm Len, I'm the Democrat from Florida running for president. And I've got some narratives that are just going to rip into him.
Okay, I liked your first idea.
You
should have just stopped there because it was really good. It was excellent. It was intelligent. It was something I hadn't heard before. It's something to consider. It's doable. I think it's practical. So stop.
And when you're playing my
there.
TikToks on your show, you'll agree to the
okay.
Too.
All right, I'll give you that when I do. Dana in New York. Why did I take this call?
You want me to hold for the break?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Dana. Thank you very much. Okay, appreciate it. Yeah. Oh, I managed to put you on hold successfully.
I can't tell you how proud I am of you right now.
Thank you. I suck at that. I'm just terrible at it. Okay. That's not a bad idea, Len, though. It's really not. Maybe we could get some of these brand new people who just ran in New York as Republicans to switch because they're from swing districts in New York. I don't know. I mean, it's not a terrible idea. It really isn't. Because, yes, you're right. The idea of Marjorie Taylor Greene being chairman of anything, especially the Oversight Committee, is pretty vomit-inducing. Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Mary had a little man.
We believe that all men are created
equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America. From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today.
Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Help is on the way.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
So, why is it taking the amount of time it's taking? A lot of people are talking about this. Well, first of all, it's very standard. This is how things work in Arizona and have for decades. And this is due in part because of mail-in voting, and Recorder Richard's going to talk about that more. But I told this group that we anticipated 95 to 99% of the ballots to be counted by Friday. That's tomorrow. But I'm here to tell you the goalposts have changed, all right? And the reason that the goalposts have changed is because wonderful news, the great participation we had on Election Day. And in particular, we had 290,000 mail-in ballots dropped off at our vote centers on Election Day. That broke the previous record by 70%. So we saw great involvement, and as Recorder Richard can talk about more, there's a process under Arizona law that we have to go through, signature verification, and that takes a while. When those ballots came in on Tuesday, that means that his team couldn't even start until Wednesday. So that's part of why we're seeing those goalposts change a little bit.
Exactly. So that's Arizona's antiquated, backward-looking laws that allow for people to drop off mail-in ballots at the polling place without voting, without actually going in and feeding it to a tabulator, right? So they could just drop it off. And now they have to go through all of the signature verification and everything else. Plus, Arizona didn't even let them start counting those votes until the day after the election. And, that's kind of why it's taking so long in Arizona. Nevada, I swear to God, Nevada is an amazing thing because, they're going to be counting into next week too, which is frustrating enough. But it's worse if you've ever driven across Arizona or Nevada. You could drive for hours and hours and hours and not see a person. You could count the number of humans that you see on one hand. And this is the play. These are the play. U.S. Route 50 through Nevada is so desolate. and so deserted that if you saw a Mars rover, you wouldn't be shocked. Nevada is like, parts of Nevada are emptier than a Dr. Oz victory party, okay? And this is where it's coming down to. I mean, it's just, it's an amazing thing. But the truth is that these are the old antiquated laws. You know what really gets to me is they were saying yesterday, you probably heard it too, how they don't even know how many ballots are out, right? They're telling us they don't even know how many ballots are out, meaning how many people mailed in their ballots yet. They don't even know. Wouldn't you think that if you were going to have mail-in balloting, that there would be some barcode or some scanning information, that if it's a ballot, the postal service actually, knows it's a ballot, so that you would know how many, I mean, I could track a package from China. Okay, I could order placemats from India. And I know, where they are in their journey, but they can't track a ballot. Listen, we got some modernization that we need to tend to, and trust me, with Republican governors in Arizona or Nevada, you're never going to get there from here. No, that's not going to happen. It's just not. So good luck, Kevin in Texas.
Greetings.
Hello.
I see you survived the hurricane there again.
Yeah, I have a little hurricane hair, just a little, but it's okay.
Great. Pity, sorry for the rest of the coast that's going to get the end of it, but
it's just raining. It's just rain is all it is. It's raining in D.C. It's raining in New York. It's just rain. You know who got slammed are the people that got slammed by the other hurricane because they're already so drenched and wet and soaked. And Daytona Beach is one of those places. It's on the East Coast, but it got there was so much beach erosion that there are no more dunes or anything to, beat back the storm.
Right.
Their houses, their backyards, I was looking, they just fell into the ocean. These are $1 million houses, just bam, into the ocean.
And of course, insurance. Hey, but here's a good one. How about, the state-run insurance company?
Yeah, Citizens.
Then hey, more power to them. But my goodness,
yeah,
we hit a pipe break, and we thought we had flood insurance, and oh no, we don't cover your plumbing.
No, everybody needs to smarten up about flood insurance. Your homeowner's insurance does not cover flood insurance. Flood insurance is only covered by the government. It's only government insurance that is a flood policy. Everything else has, if you think you have flood insurance, you're wrong. You don't, unless you went through the United States government. So make a note of it, everybody, because climate change is real. And God forbid, God help us, if we have a Republican House and Senate, we'll never get there from here. And there's like a multi-trillion-dollar marketplace to go there. So for people who deny science, I don't even need you to believe in science. I need you to believe in commerce. Okay.
Oh, I agree with you 100% on, and especially what the cost of the homeowner has to pay.
Oh, forget it.
Through the, and the insurance saying, like you said, read the fine print. I agree with you. You got to look through your policies because you're going to end up.
You don't have to look through your policy. If you have homeowners insurance that didn't come from the federal government, you don't have flood insurance. There you go.
Yes, again, you have to add these are extra deals you have to include in which then raises your rate.
Yeah.
There's
anyway,
capitalism.
We're okay. We're okay. Thank you very much. We did okay. Yeah. I just finished cleaning up my pool and my yard. It's good now.
Great. Good to hear. I did want to bring up about our losses here in Texas, where I'm a little disappointed. I believe if former President Obama would have come down here at least twice, especially like in the last week, Beto O'Rourke would be the governor of Texas right now. I believe the Democratic Party dropped the ball on that. We had a really strong chance. they were displaying, the ads here were displaying Abbott as this great family man. And this is the guy who had put bounties on women.
Yeah.
Banning books, literally shutting down commerce. Now, this was one of the questions I wanted to ask you is you have a little bit of knowledge with the law and lawyers. Isn't there a legal thing for dereliction of office?
The only way you can remove your governor is, when he's up for re-election, not vote for him or impeach him, period. End of story. That's it. That's all you got. But who I really feel sad for, who really breaks my heart? The people of Uvalde who were lied to in their faces as they were burying their children. This man went there and lied and said the police officers ran into the classrooms and they were running toward danger and they did the right thing, only to find out nobody went in there, okay? Nobody, which was an easy thing for him to know. And then Uvalde County had to actually watch Abbott get reelected, and 60% of Uvalde County voted for Greg Abbott.
Exactly, that's the thing. It's the
cult.
My
God, people!
I'm telling you, it's a cult. I'll call you another time, and I will tell you about a Republican woman that enlightened me that this is cult behavior.
Yeah, no, it's disgusting, and my heart breaks for those parents. Okay, all they asked for was what Beto was running on, to raise the age to 21 because the shooter was 18 and got his guns like on his 18th birthday, and he won't do it.
It's Randy at RandyRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
Okay, so this is a change of subject, but this is freaky, okay? This is really, really crazy.
Elon Musk's new blue checkmark subscription is causing a bit of chaos on the platform. Celebrity and corporate impersonators are everywhere. Here are a few. NBA fans got the shock of the season when superstar LeBron James appeared to ask for a trade in a Twitter post. That, of course, was phony. Yeah. Then there was an apparent tweet from drug company Eli Lilly with a very big announcement that it will give out free insulin.
With the blue verified check.
Look at the likes. Verified check mark. And that's just early. I mean, there were way more likes, a lot of retweets. That was phony, of course. Many other companies, including Tesla, were impersonated. Those tweets have since been deleted. Elon Musk tweeted last night that the platform will suspend any account that impersonates another unless it clearly specifies in its name that it is a parody.
This is just the beginning, too.
Man. And he's asking employees to come back to work that were remote for pretty much the last couple of years.
He's telling everybody to come back.
He's telling everybody to come out. Yeah. People are trying to find childcare. There are larger repercussions.
Yeah, but meanwhile, the head of trust, of safety, of sales, of compliance, of privacy, all these people are leaving the buildings.
Right.
It's a very worrying time.
And he's even sending signals that the company could go bankrupt. So.
Other than that, things are going well.
Yes. And by the way, you reach out to the communications department for comment. There is no communications department. They're all been fired.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So here's what's going on Twitter now. He was selling the blue check marks, right? So there's a verification process. I know because I have a blue check mark. I don't know how long it'll last. I'm not paying. But instead of going through the verification process, meaning you had to prove that you were a journalist, you had to show that you were a broadcaster, you had to, say that you played for the NBA and provide some, verifying information that you played for the NBA, whatever. Well, now for $8, you can buy the blue check mark. So people are out there buying the blue check mark and calling themselves Kari Lake, or calling themselves Donald Trump, or calling themselves, Tesla, or impersonating, the CEO of a company. Which, by the way, if a CEO of a company like, Eli Lilly there is impersonated and says, okay, starting today, insulin is free, the stock could tank. You understand? And you're talking about, having a very large impact on the world in which we toil and live for $8. For $8 a month. So somebody this morning tweeted this. Okay, show it, Brett. Okay, so you see this is a Kari Lake account with a blue check mark there. You see that? It says, it's with a heavy heart that I must concede to my opponent at Katie Hobbs. We didn't get the outcome we wanted, but I promise we'll be back even stronger in next year's gubernatorial election. Okay? That is not Kari Lake. That's an imposter account. But you can look at the bottom there. You see how many people retweeted it. You see how many people liked it already. And that was early this morning. It's probably, So this is the mess that this man is making because he's erratic and has absolutely no clue how to run a social media company or why the rules were such that you had to show who you were if you wanted to be a verified journalist or a verified reporter or a verified NBA player or a verified, a candidate for governor of any state. Wow. It's just, the whole thing is a mess. It's a mess. They had a call yesterday with, the staff and all that. And he was threatening them, telling them, if you don't come to work in person, that's it. You're fired. Don't even bother to show up. I mean, and everybody quit last night, from the security people to the brand people to the advertising, the marketing department. They all quit. PR, the whole PR department, everybody walked out the door. This is amazing.
Overnight, new Twitter owner Elon Musk in an all-hands staff meeting telling workers that they need to return to the office full-time or resign. In exclusive audio excerpts obtained by ABC News.
Let me be crystal clear. If people do not return to the office when they are able to return to the office, they cannot remain at the company. End of story.
This on the heels of massive layoffs last week, and when asked about staff levels, Musk downplayed those concerns.
Why is our leadership trying to increase attrition rate if we're already understaffed and barely able to keep things running?
I'm not trying to increase attrition, but I think we are not understaffed. I think we are overstaffed. That is my opinion, which you're welcome to disagree with.
Doubling down on the new policy.
Basically, if you can show up at an office and you do not show up at the office, resignation accepted. End of story.
Musk can expect strong pushback from employees who claim he is violating their employment contracts.
He thinks labor protections are trivial, but they're anything but trivial for the thousands of workers who are affected by his rash decisions.
During the meeting, he also told employees that he can't rule out the company filing for bankruptcy in the next year. The Federal Trade Commission issued a warning to Twitter, saying they are watching the company with deep concern. And now, top Twitter executives leaving the company include Chief Information Security Officer Leah Kistner and the head of Trust and Safety, Yoel Roth. ABC has reached out to Twitter for comment, but the company has yet to respond.
Because there's nobody there to respond. There's nobody home. This reminds me of Air America. I swear to God. I swear to God. And, he will throw it into bankruptcy. He will. He's hoping he'll get sued. He's hoping that the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, enforces these labor agreements that he thinks, he can get away with violating. I don't even think he thinks he can get away with violating them. I think he's violating them so he'll get sued. And much like the Alex Jones scenario, you just, throw yourself into bankruptcy and you get to keep whatever money, you have invested in the company. And then all of the judgments go unpaid. Go unpaid. I swear he's doing it because he never wanted Twitter. He was playing with our heads, okay? The whole thing was a ruse. The whole thing was a game. And then when the company said, oh, no, you made an offer, $54 a share, we're going to take you up on that. Now we're going to hold you to your, your deal memo. We're going to actually enforce that. And he got stuck buying this thing. He's now destroying it on purpose. This is the megalomaniac. This is the autocrat. This is the end of story dude. Okay, this is the way they are. This is what they do. This is how it is. And then when it all comes to home to roost, guess what they say? Well, if I can't have it, nobody can. And they burn it down to the ground. Whether it's our country or it's a social media platform that we all know how to use and we all like using. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. And so, the hell with it. The hell with it. So be careful on Twitter is all I'm saying. Now, they did suspend the option of purchasing an identity for $8 and getting the blue check mark. He did suspend that. It's a blue Twitter. He said, okay, no more blue Twitter for now, because too many people were impersonating too many people and too many companies and doing real damage to the bottom line of company. I don't think they give a damn about the people who are being impersonated. I don't think he cares if somebody stole my identity or stole Kari Lake's identity. I don't think he gives a rat's ass. I think he's starting to get hip to the fact that it could, depress Twitter stock if somebody's parading around out there and claiming to be him or claiming to be Tesla or claiming to be SpaceX. So that must have scared them a little bit. So now you can't buy a blue check mark for $8. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but when we first started the show back again, in 2015, it was driving me crazy. Like all of the positions of the Kama Sutra I had to assume in order to get the check mark.
Call in, connect. To speak to Randi, call 561-270-3844. 561-270-3844.
This is just an embarrassment, and the people of Arizona are sick and tired of elections being run like we're in some banana republic, and we won't have it anymore. We're going to win this. Everybody in this state knows we're going to win it. I was running against a basement candidate who didn't even campaign, didn't debate, and the people didn't vote for her. There was zero excitement, and this is ridiculous.
They did vote for her. It looks like an equal number voted for her that voted for you, with, the exception being maybe 5 votes. You know what I mean? This is just unbelievable. And just so you know, the reason why, Venezuela can have an election and know the results that day is because all they do is vote one day, just one day to vote, and all on machines. All on machines. That's not us. We give people choices, options, ways to vote, early voting, dropping off your ballot, drop boxes, mail it in, show up in person, show up early in person. We're not a banana republic. That's what's pissing her off. That's what's really getting her goat. And another thing that the Republicans are now bandying about is raising the age to vote. Some want it to be 21 again, before we amended the Constitution. To include 18-year-olds because we were sending them off to die in Vietnam. All right, we were sending them off to die in war, but we weren't allowing them to vote. That was fascinating. So we amended the United States Constitution. It's called the 26th Amendment. And what the Republicans are just, throwing out there as if it's, a possibility to happen overnight or by a minority or majority vote and, whatever. Raise the age to 21. And some freaks are out there saying that we should raise the age to 28 because they're so afraid of the Gen Z voters. The Gen Z voters. Only half of the Gen Z voters are eligible to vote now, okay? They are going to come into age. They're going to age in over the next, election cycle. You'll have even more Gen Z voters, not less. Not less. And they're freaked out about them because Gen Z seems to give a damn about things like climate change. They tend to give a damn about things like banning books. This is an affront to them. This is offensive to them. This is, not anything that they will abide. They also are very open to having reproductive choice. This is an issue for them. So is democracy. But, they understand that the Gen Z kids are just now starting to age in to voting age eligibility. And they're all about, stopping that. See, what they want to pick their voters. You understand? They don't want the voters to pick them. They want to pick their voters. And they don't like black voters, especially Georgians right now. OK, black voters in Georgia suck. They've got to be stopped. They've got to be depressed. They've got to be disenfranchised. We have to put, barriers and hoops and bubbles to count and things for them, obstacles in their way. And they want to do the same thing with the young voters because the young voters have issues that aren't Republican issues. They're not things that the Republicans are interested in solving at all. So you hear this talk about, changing the age. You understand what that involves, though. You're going to be smarter than anybody this weekend whenever anybody, brings it up in conversation or brings it up as an option or brings it up as, did you hear they're talking about? Your answer is very basic. You'd have to amend the 26th Amendment in the Constitution to do that. And we're not amending the amendment to the Constitution. It's not happening. So, just so you know. Okay. I'm sorry. Dana in New York. Oh, damn it.
Hey, Randy. Good to talk to you.
I'm sorry I did that to you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. A big barometer of the election fallout is I'm watching the one of the classic car auctions that's out in Vegas this weekend, and like prices are really low. Stuff on reserve is not moving, and everybody just looks in shock.
Really?
And there's not a red hat to be found. And it's going to be interesting, stuff like this, like PGA coverage, just watch the crowd, watch the coverage of the crowds, or watch the people, and you'll get a real barometer of the country or upper class strip club Republicans that were the core, the MAGA core, were all just like, they're like Will Ferrell. What the hell happened?
Well, next week he's going to. He says he's teasing. He's telling us that he's got a big announcement he's going to make on Tuesday night from Magaloco over there. And it's deranged, but I think he might be announcing that he's running. And I would like to see Monday for Merrick Garland to say, I'm indicting him. Do you know what I mean? Just to add the add a layer of obstacles for him.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he's in a free fall because his sugar daddy Robert Mercer has cut him off.
Yeah.
And my position's always been that Citizens United was Twitter and Facebook's sole path to profitability, and now all that dark money is drying up. And it's no coincidence that both companies, regardless of Elon Musk's madness, they're both initiating massive layoffs because their primary profit stream is evaporating.
Well, believe it or not, Twitter's primary revenue stream is advertisers, and they are not interested in doing business with him because he's too erratic, and they don't know what the future is for that platform, and so they'll withhold. General Motors will withhold their ads, and Volvo and Audi. They're not advertising on Twitter right now because they don't. Nobody wants to do business with an erratic CEO. And nobody wants to do business with Trump for the same damn reason, okay? And so
they're both morons.
So what's interesting is that the money for a Donald Trump candidacy has dried up. Ken Griffin, he's another big giant dark money guy. He's not giving anymore. He's not supporting Trump. He told everybody today in the Republican Party, gravy train's over. I'm not supporting this guy. I can't do it. He's too erratic. Nobody wants to do business not knowing what tomorrow, what the rules of the road are going to be because you're just too unstable, Yeah. So, so anyway, he started grifting again last night, just so you know. He put out a call, to his supporters, to MAGA, to send money to him, saying that, he was doing this to support the three candidates. But when you look at the fine print, the money's going to him. The money's going to his super PAC. And Jesse Waters and Tucker Carlson and the whole Fox apparatus is literally calling him out on that, saying you didn't help, you didn't fund anybody. You sat on your $100 million, your $127 million. And now he's just grifting again. Now he just wants, the rest of the money to come to him before he announces, right?
Yeah. Well, the Democrats have got to stay organized. They've got to really floor it on 2024 because remember in 2000, when Obama won, the Republicans they were in the wilderness for a couple of months, but then basically a week after Obama's inauguration, it was the
Make
Tea
him
Party.
A one-term yeah, exactly. It was. Even Mitch McConnell, they had no platform. They had no solutions to any of our problems, right? Their thing was, to make Obama a one-term president. That was their entire reason for being.
It's the Randi Rhodes Rhodes Show. To speak with Randi, dial 561-270-3844. That's 561-270-3844.
Oh, my God. Oh, last segment, and it's Friday. Thank God. We have been through so much this week. Yeah, I went through a hurricane. I didn't say anything to you. Did I complain? No. Did Brett complain? No. We just showed up for work because it was election. It was election week. And we wanted to be here for you. For you. Because we give and we give and we give and you take and you take and you take. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it wasn't, it was a hurricane. We actually had one Wednesday night into Thursday morning. We had a freaking hurricane. It really, hit us like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then when I woke up, my yard was just shredded. But did I lose my ability to come in here and count and think and do math and runoffs and figure out the dates and the time? No, I did not. And you should not give up either. Brother David.
Happy fighting for freedom from Fascist Friday, sister.
Thank you.
And happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service.
Oh, you're welcome.
This is always fraught for me because my father served in Korea. His oldest brother was killed in World War II. My mother's oldest brother was in Air Force intelligence. And I have 3 dear friends that I have met literally through your show who all served. So Tap, Jeff, Ruben, thank you for your service. One side of this equation we've seen, I'm using veterans and the military, have shown exactly what they think of the people who go overseas and risk their lives for us when they come back, or if they come back.
What have I said to you for 20 years now? They just like us when we're all nice and clean and shiny and we're all shipping out, but when we come back just a little dirty and our uniforms are ripped or our heads are bashed open or, we're bleeding, oozing pussy gravy sores of human beings, just shut up about it. We don't care about you.
Exactly.
You could fight for your disability. You could fight for your VA benefits. Go at it. Go see how much we care. They don't give a damn about veterans.
No, they do not.
They deploy us without a thought. They deploy us on lies. They deployed us, Iraq was a joke. That was a big, disgusting fake war, fake lies, fake weapons of mass destruction. The whole thing was a fraud. Afghanistan was a fraud too. And then you have a president who comes in here who knows the deep state stuff. He knows what happened there, and he actually ends the 20 years of endless drudgery and lives lost and all that. But 13 people die on the way out the door, and somehow he's the bastard. Somehow he's the son of a bitch.
As ever pointing the finger at the one solving it for the problem they created
Always.
in the first place.
Always.
Real quick shout out to the chat room. I'm changing my tune. If you have anything to give, please go to Reverend Warnock's website. I volunteer to phone bank anything.
Anything, yes. Time is good.
This is long haul, but we have seen a blue tidal wave against a, quote, red wave that, as more than one meme has already said, really was kind of like a ketchup smear from a hamburger thrown at the wall of Mar-a-Lago. But this is a long-haul thing.
Can you imagine being Tiffany Trump right now? I mean,
my God.
Holy crap. Okay, so for those of you who don't keep up with the Trumps, okay. So Tiffany, the daughter that he never acknowledges, the daughter that he pretends is, not even a part of his family, she's getting married this weekend at Magaloco, okay?
Oh, dear God.
Oh, yeah, and her father is just raging right now. I mean, raging. Like I said, 22 times he posts on his stupid platform there, cue stuff, and the storm is coming, and crazy ass crap, okay? And she is getting married at his country club house this weekend with her father raging.
He won't even be able to walk her down the aisle.
Oh, that poor kid. I mean, I really feel bad for her. I mean, just terrible.
You kind of can't not. That is the other aspect of our side. We actually recognize that other people exist and affirm each other's humanity.
Biden, when I hang up with you, I'm going to play this little clip. It's short. But Biden, had some moments this week, good ones, really good ones.
Yeah.
I mean, he was very, buoyant this week. He was just, you could sense that he felt a lot of pressure and stress come off of him. But he gave this one little section of one little speech where he talked about empathy, and he talked about, leadership and empathy and what it means to really truly be empathetic, and that it's not just about knowing, that somebody needs a shoulder, or somebody needs you, or somebody needs a little hug, or somebody needs but it's actually knowing what it is they need and giving it freely. It was a really nice thought.
There's the golden rule in action. Love, love, love you always. There are still more of us, and the people will keep coming.
Yes, I hear you. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye. So this is what I wanted you to hear. It's really short, but this is Biden's view on leadership.
Part of what I think leadership requires, and I hope I meet the standard, is letting people know you understand their problem. Again, my dad used to have an expression. He said, I don't expect the government to solve my problems, but I expect them at least know what they are, understand them. So there's a lot we can do. And the empathy is not just talking about it, it's communicating to people you genuinely understand. And I hope a lot of people don't understand, because I don't want people having to know the pain. But the second piece of that is let them know that you are there to help. You're there to help.
And you know what to do. That's a leader. A leader knows what to do. A leader not only makes it clear that they understand your problem, that they hear what's bothering you, and that they understand the issue, but and not only, makes it clear that they're there to help. Help is on the way was, his very first opening, thing to us after he won an election. Help is on the way. I can tell you now that help is on the way. But also knowing what help will help. And he does know what help will help. That's why we got the American Recovery Act right out of the gate. And guess what it had in there? It had the child tax credit, which seemed like a little thing just to say a child tax credit. But it actually took 40% of children who live in poverty out of poverty. He knows what the issues are. Democrats know what the issues are. And it's like he said, you don't expect government to solve your problem, but you do expect them to know what your problems are. And one of the things had to do with inflation, right? And so we're starting to see a little bit of progress there, which, it's a wonderful thing.
Wall Street likes this sign that the Federal Reserve's efforts to cool historic inflation are finally working. Prices rose 7.7% in October from a year ago. That is still historically high, but they're easing off the records that were set in June when prices were up more than 9%. And back then, American families were spending almost $500 more a month on the same goods and services as they were the year before. Today, that number is still higher, but it's not as high, $433 a month more, but it's coming down. Areas where we're seeing prices fall: used cars, clothes, medical care, airfare. Gasoline is down from its $5 peak, but it's been starting to climb again, Amy.
All right, so explain for us, Rebecca, why the stock markets then are responding positively to all of this news.
So this just brings down the probability that the Fed's going to have to keep these aggressive rate hikes going. In addition to the stock market responding positively, we've seen mortgage rates respond. 30-year fixed rate mortgages plunged from 7.2% to 6.6%. That's better news for anyone out there who wants to buy a home.
Yes. Better news for anybody out there that wants to buy a home. Interest rates are coming down now on mortgages. People are spending about $60 a month less on things than they were in June. That's something that feels good because it is good. It's not there. We're not there. But at least we have somebody who's actually trying to solve our problems, who understands what they are, what causes them, and what to do about them. This is different from a president who only cares about himself. This is different from a party that only cares about power. This is different than a party that doesn't care about anything at all, except owning the libs. boring is steady. Boring is sometimes what you need. Now, I understand that we want the whole package. I get it. I understand that we want somebody who's a brilliant speaker, who's a great salesman, who can, talk to the American people and wrap the American people around his little finger or her little finger and also solve our problems. Well, we don't have that. But we do have problem solvers on our side, working on our issues. Happy Veterans Day.